Hold on tight, spider monkey.
As if you could outrun me!
It's more than some crush, Bella.
How? I don't even know what you're saying. How?
I'm trying to multitask, but it's not working. All right. Who wants to start off the show while I round this sucker up?
Welcome to another episode of my Twilight Fantasy Podcast.
Hello, hello, hello.
We're your favorite Twilight hoes, Maya
T. Dreezy,
And Anna.
and today we're going to be talking about Chapter 18, The Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to episode 18.
Yeah, welcome back. Wow, this is really loud.
bass boosted.
Yeah. Welcome back. I'm almost excited to think that this may be the first episode I don't have to apologize for my dog. We're trying a new tactic. So, pray for us.
We might want to close the blinds.
What?
We might want to close the blinds.
Why?
Just in case someone comes by and he just starts, you know?
He's way deep in this chicken right now, so.
Wow.
So, welcome back. I think I've said that 9 times now. Whatever. Do you guys have a good week?
Decently okay, yeah.
You know what? Don't even give me that look, Tyree.
Oh, just didn't have a good week.
Yeah, did you get in, like, your third car accident?
Second, on Monday, leaving work. It was pretty lit.
Nice.
Yeah, second accident of the month, so. Whoa. Gonna get
So consider
dropped.
subscribing to our Patreon.
Yeah, because I'm gonna get dropped for my insurance.
Yeah. Vampire pray for us.
Vampire prey.
What would a vampire
They're
prey
damned.
Vampire plat. Vampire pray.
be? Yeah. All right. You know what? We tried this last week where I asked how our week went, and it didn't go well either. So maybe we'll just cut that out from now on.
Well, what were you going to say?
I don't know.
how
I
was your
just
week?
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't talk about our weeks. Because the whole Twilight podcast is supposed to distract from our horrible
True.
lives, right? Not that our lives are that horrible, but, like, they're not... My life is not horrible. Let me restate.
Just not ideal.
Yeah, just not ideal.
Yeah. Well, actually, my week was fine until, what was it, last night? 2 nights ago. I texted you guys that someone was trying to break into my house.
Maybe it's a fan.
Got your address. I was like, I followed Buddy's echolocation and just found your house.
Yeah, if you're a fan and you're trying to break into my apartment at 10:30 at night, please stop.
No, hit us up at...
No, I don't know who it was. They knocked on my... Well, I guess, is it actually trying to break in if they knock on your door first?
They were definitely trying to mess with you.
Yeah, I think so.
Like a ding-dong ditch, but you guys don't have doorbells. So they just knock.
Right.
And then do it like 8 times to make you feel weird.
Yeah.
I think one of the times you've done, you should, like they did it, just start screaming. But
Just
like,
scream?
Yeah, I feel like they wouldn't come back after that. You just scream. Like, just wait by the door and just scream underneath the door. I bet you they would not come back.
That's not the worst idea you've ever had.
Thank you.
I was thinking you should just play the John Cena music really, really loud.
My time is now.
All good.
You just hear, are you ready? Am I ready for what? Who is this? Are you ready for this Sunday night?
Oh my god. Well, I guess it's a good thing that you guys were already asleep because I don't know if any of that advice would have done me well at that exact time. At least Paul was like, call the police.
Who is he?
I don't know. He seemed low-key worried.
I feel like he just has his moments. Like, it seems like he's one way, and then he's just like, I'm actually a caring dude if you just... Like, last year when the snow was on our cars, and he, like, brushed all our cars off.
Yeah, that was so nice.
Yeah, and actually I remember one day he offered to give us a ride because he was like, there's no way your cars are shit, they're not going to make it to work. I'll give you a ride if you want. And I was like,
I'm
Weird
like,
flex.
Well, so, like, backhanded insult, but also, like, thank you, I guess?
Oh my god.
Hey, your cars are garbage. Hop in my
All
ride.
of you would have come to work at like 11 a.m.
You guys supposed to be here at 8. And?
Oh gosh.
3 of us roll up in one car.
And he's like, where'd you guys go? I'm like, we went to Cedar Point. Like we said we were going to go.
Anyway.
All right. Let's talk about Twilight. So,
Ba-da-ba.
oh
My
no.
time is now.
Yeah, should we just officially change the intro song?
Just the John Cena thing.
Ba-ba-da-ba.
And then if we finally do decide to take this to like YouTube and start recording our episodes, this is also on you guys. If you want to start recording our episodes, we need some shmoney monies. But
What do you mean? You're talking so fast. I don't know what you're saying.
I said we're gonna need some shmoney monies. That's
For what?
for if we want to start recording our episodes. Like,
We are recording our episodes.
I mean, like visually. But then
Who wants to see our crusty asses?
I mean, we're not the crustiest out there, and that's all I'm gonna say about that.
True.
But then we would have to like not look smacked every time we came.
Yeah,
I wouldn't care.
I don't know
though.
if that's in the cards for me.
Yeah, I actually don't care. This is how the rest of the world perceives me. Like
Yeah.
a couple other people from a little bit further away who are never going to see me ever. Like
This is
outside
me.
of this is
Yeah.
yeah.
The only reason I'd want that is so that they could see our merch,
Right.
which I'm wearing right now.
I think it adds to it if we're all wearing super cozy clothes because it's like, I don't know, this is supposed to be like a cozy, heartwarming podcast, I guess.
I think
not,
it'd be
maybe not
fun.
heartwarming, but
Because I keep thinking this is my first year living in my apartment here. And I was just thinking the other day, like, because I have a ton of windows and a balcony, it'll be so nice when it gets actually to be fall and maybe winter. So we can have like windows open or just mugs of coffee when it's
That's what I was
snowing and we're
thinking.
recording.
And I'm gonna have like a little firecracker, like not firecracker, but a little fire playing on my phone, crackling in the background.
Do the fire. One time I legitimately watched a fireplace YouTube video for like 10 minutes. It's like mesmerizing, man.
I'm like, oh.
was it the one with the cat?
No, there's one with a cat?
I don't know if it's like on a DVD or something, but my stepdad, like almost every like Christmas morning, has this like one specific like really long fireplace loop, and there's a cat in it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think he thinks it's funny, but now it's like tradition.
I love that.
My time is now.
All right. So let's actually talk about
Yeah,
Twilight.
let's do that.
Yeah, so we're back in it, and we did chapter 17 last week, which was the game, the baseball game, which leads us to chapter 18, the hunt. Turn it off. It just sounds like someone peeing in the background through the...
It low-key does.
It just, yeah. So like for
Right.
those, yeah.
Before we go on to actually doing the chapter overview, if you would like to see us like actually use video to record the episodes as well and post that to YouTube, like let us know. Just saying.
Like, it may be able to be arranged, but it might not be everything
Yeah.
because sometimes I come in here looking like who did it and what for. So
And I always look like who did it and what for.
That's a new one. Okay.
who did it and what for?
Yeah.
You get smacked with the ugly stick every
Maybe
morning.
we should go live on Instagram soon, too.
Yeah.
Just to, like, say what up.
Today.
No.
At work tomorrow.
No.
In our gear. I was about to say the name.
No. No, when we're all wearing our merch,
Yeah.
Tyree.
I've asked for the website thing so I can get the codes when I had money, but now I
I've
have...
texted it to the group.
I don't think you did.
I did.
I know.
did.
Yeah, I was
Again,
like 66
Tyree and I have spent the whole day together, so.
Look at me.
Oh my god. Okay. Tyree!
I'm sorry.
God, pull it together.
Trying my best.
Alright, I'm starting. Can you shut up now?
Maybe.
What is that buzzing? Alright, it's gone. Alright. So, I have the overview for this chapter. And then we'll get into it. Sound good? Mm-hmm. Alright, so, chapter 18, The Hunt. So this chapter picks up after the baseball game comes to a halt once the Cullens hear 3 vampires approaching.
They're coming.
What starts as kind of like a tense meeting becomes casual as the 2 clans kind of get acquainted. Sorry, I had a hiccup. Carlisle even gets so friendly as to invite them back to their home to kind of share stories and how they came to have a permanent residence and to allow them to clean up. But just as they thought they were going, undiscovered and concealing Bella, the slight breeze catches Bella's ratty ass hair, and James gets a whiff. So after James makes a move towards Bella, Edward and James go head to head in this weird growling and snarling contest.
Oh my god, that's hot.
Yeah, so hot. But, Carlisle kind of talks the situation down, but Edward still senses some, level of danger there. So they're all starting to leave the field. Edward, Bella, Alice, and Emmett leave together towards the Jeep. And they're out driving pretty fast, 105 miles per hour. What the hell? In a Jeep. Sorry, quick break. Anyway, back to the overview. So they're driving in the car, Edward, Bella, Alice, and Emmett. And it kind of turns into this shouting match of what to do next. Should they throw out James off the scent, go back to Charlie, or just disappear altogether? Really, it's just Alice and Emmett talking Edward down from his mania, and Bella trying to reason with him to take her back to Charlie. So eventually they're able to win Edward over, with some sort of logic, and they make their plan. So they will take Bella back to Charlie's. Bella has 15 minutes to get their shit together and leave in the truck. Then Alice and Jasper will join Bella, and they will head down to Phoenix, finding a hotel to stay at down there. Then after a few days' time, Edward will leave Forks and head towards Phoenix, but take kind of a confusing route to throw James off. And then once Edward and Bella are reunited, they will escape together to safety. So that's the plan, and that's how the chapter ends.
Which is a super half-baked plan, and I was super confused reading that, but whatever.
Yeah, and so I was also confused. Did they add the extra part where Rosalie was running through in the opposite direction with Bella's scent, or was that not a thing? Did they not meet in the garage and do all that extra stuff?
That's later.
Okay, I just want to make sure. So do they still follow through on Rosalie's part, what she does, and rubbing up against the trees and stuff and going the other direction?
I don't think they get that detailed, but some of that attempt to throw James off her scent does happen, but not yet. At this point, most of this chapter takes place in the car between where the baseball shit happened and Bella's house, and at Bella's house.
Okay.
And I would like to start by talking about Edward's rage in this scene, because in the last chapter we learned a lot about Edward's the motivation behind his anger, where it comes from, and it made a lot more sense. But at this point, it really feels like he's just seeing Bella as an object to protect, and they throw her around in this chapter a little bit. On page 380, Edward, it says, flung me in the back seat, and then he orders Emmett to strap her in. And then I think it's in this chapter. At another point, Bella starts struggling trying to unbuckle herself, which is fucking pathetic, but
she's pathetic.
Edward is just Emmett, and then he just gets both of Bella's hands in his grip,
holds her down basically.
Yeah, which is super not cute, in my opinion.
Yeah, sorry, I had a lot of notes in the first, but I'll have to scroll through to the or whatever. But sorry, but it was I know we had noted back on how he's very controlling, and he always has to be the one making the final decisions, and I was thinking this entire time I was making notes when he had Emmett hold her down, I was so what's the plan to kidnap her against her will?
That's what I said too.
I'm and then I was just and Bella has to be more assertive in what she says and what she does. I understand that he is trying to look out for her best interest, but he can't just say F all the other people in her life, Charlie. If James went back and killed Charlie because Bella wasn't there, they didn't strategize, because he's being selfish and only thinking about her, and I don't know. I forgot where I was going, but I just thought it was ridiculous how it was sort of, it's in every other aspect of what they do, it's his way or the highway. So
yeah, and that's irritating because I think it's in this chapter where he's it might be in the next one, but at one point he's like, can we just do things my way for once?
Yeah, it's this
like,
chapter.
When have we ever done it any other way than your way? Because you leave, like, no alternative.
Okay, give me a second. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. You know.
Oh, he started pooping on the floor.
Yeah.
It was pretty lit.
Yeah, so lit.
At least it doesn't stink.
Yeah.
I'm dying.
It was like when Gus craps, like crap is immediate. And like it will literally take hours for the smell to go away, even after I've like bleached his entire cage down. I'm like, I'll.
Oh, this is going
Alright.
so well.
So, enough about dog shit.
This might not be a 5-star episode, you know?
No. It was off to such a good start. Alright.
Sorry,
What were you talking about, Maya?
I think we were talking about Edward's just like general weirdness in this episode, or I mean this chapter. He also says he tells Bella that he's going to blame him if anything bad happens to her, and I know that that's at least partially a joke, but it's also like kind of like a you're so dumb, like just don't let anything happen to you type thing, and I don't know, that just felt like if she's going to die, like I wouldn't want that to be the last thing I had said to her, you know?
So I read that differently.
Yeah?
I mean, at first I was like, yeah, not the... Alright, something is buzzing. It's driving me insane. Okay. But yeah, I read that and I was like, that's kind of shitty. But then, yes, I read it as half joking, but also, I didn't think... my next thought was because they're going with her plan.
Yeah. That's what I thought too.
Yeah, so it's like, he does think she's careless and clumsy and whatever, but, they're going back to Charlie's because she's insistent, so, and he's not happy about that.
The thing is, like, they need to, and he just doesn't understand that.
You're
Exactly.
really far from the mic.
Oh.
I
Yeah.
said the same thing because it feels, it has this like kidnapping vibe because Bella clearly wants to at least say goodbye to Charlie first and like really cares about his protection, but Edward is like, no, like you're my object, I'm going to protect my object, I don't care what happens to your family, I only care about you, kind of. That's sort of the vibe I got.
Yeah.
And I know he doesn't mean it like that, but it's just like inconsiderate.
Yeah, but then he had like Emmett hold her down. Like they're like, it was just like, I understand you're refusing right now, but he's like, I'm doing this for you. And then like what he's not understanding is like she is not the only like game piece in this whole thing. She may be the queen, but like even though she's not, but there are like other pieces on the board, and he's just like ignoring the rest of them. If that makes sense. Like Charlie and her friend, like not necessarily her friends, because like she doesn't care about those hoes anyway. But
Yeah, but also too, like, I don't know, him... Think about someone, like, in crisis mode, you know? They're not the most reasonable and not thinking about everything, and, like, if, I don't know, like a family member has a heart attack or something, like, you just start kind of losing it or whatever, you know? You don't... You either call 911 or you just kind of freak out and you don't really know what to do, and maybe he's just kind of in, like, survival mode at this point, like, keep Bella alive because this dude is coming full-fledged at her.
Yeah, I hear that. And I get that I was trying to, like, give him that, but I don't even think any of it, like, any of the blame for this falls onto Bella in this particular circumstance, because she was, like, trying to advocate for herself, but is, like, the weakest person here, you know?
Yeah, I made a note of that. Not, like, only because, when like she like described her plan, and then Emmett said that he seemed like he was like, wow, Bella, I'm really impressed, and then she felt that was like really insulting, and I was just like, girl, you haven't been like able to do anything for yourself since the beginning of the book. Like, there's a reason why he feels this way.
I hear you, but also I was noticing, and it continues into the next chapter too, Emmett, we haven't really met him before, and he's only characterized as like a dumb, strong guy who like is good at sports, does sports, likes Jeep, runs fast, you know? And I think that's kind of hilarious, but also he's just like, there are like moments where he's just like kind of an idiot, you know? Like when he's like, oh, I'm so impressed that you came up with that, and then, like, she's diabolical, and,
Just lemon scented.
I can't find it. I tried to go back and look for it again. Maybe I misread it, but I thought at one point, after he's, like, been told to hold onto Bella's wrists, he, like, it's time for her to get out of the car or something, and she needs him to let go, but he's like, oh yeah, sorry. Like, I forgot I was holding your hands together. You know, just, like, characterized as an idiot.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, cool that you're differentiating between people, but the, like, one-dimensionality of that I don't like. He could be a more interesting character than just that.
Yeah.
And why would Rosalie like him if he's only, like, the dumb smart, or the dumb strong guy?
Yeah, Rosalie seems, like, very complex, and he's just, like, very simple.
Yep.
And
I think, not that Emmett really even had a large role in the movies anyway, but I think they really pulled that, his sense of humor out in his character in the movies. Like, a lot of the time he's, like, the comic relief with the scenes he's in. So he's either that humorous side or the strong protector side. But kind of like a lovable teddy bear, you know? But I agree with you, in the books, he's just kind of a dope.
every time I picture him in the movies, I just hear, like, a guitar riffing in the background.
Super massive black hole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got?
I had low-key a lot. I need to, because this is just from, most of the stuff is just from the description of the little uglies, the little trio.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about that. Well, first of all, I think we can say the book description and the movie appearances are drastically different.
It's like out of pocket how different it is. I don't even think in the book Laurent's black. I don't think he is at all.
I mean, that's the thing, like, he could be.
But I know, it's just like, but it's because, like, she describes Victoria, she describes James, and then, like, Laurent's just like,
You figure it out.
yeah, I'm the mysterious one over here.
I have more questions about him later, but, like, the way that he steps forward as, like, the leader, but clearly is, like, completely on a different page than the other two, is really interesting to me, and, like, I don't remember if he gets a backstory. I don't think he does. I don't think he ever comes back, really, except in, like, one scene, like, in a later book, right?
No, he comes back in this one, too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. But, like, he just comes back to, like, warn them, and then he eats away.
Eats away. Yeah, because I was thinking he could have, like, an interesting backstory, like, what got him attached to these people in the first place, because don't vampires usually go in, like, groups of two?
I think he says why.
Okay.
In this book, later in this book.
Okay.
Like, kind of like if you can't beat him, join him thing with James. Like, he realized how lethal he was. And that's not the kind of guy that you'd want to go against. So might as well just team up with him.
That's fucked up. That's kind of snake shit, but anyway.
So Laurent was the one they were portraying as the leader. Okay,
Yeah.
because, like, that's not a vibe that I got at all. Like, I thought he was more like I'm going to be the one, like, communicating, but, like, it's because I'm the one who has, like, more sense.
Yeah.
I always, like, pegged James as leader, because as soon as James was just like, oh, Bella, it was like, okay, we'll follow James's lead. But then, you know, Laurent does come and say something later, but I don't know, I just thought of him as he was the educated one out of the thing, especially because they're describing, like, James and Victoria as, like, they keep referring to them as, like, a pack, like a wolf pack, and, like,
Yeah, I was going to talk about that too.
yeah, I was like, is it supposed to, like, show because they're untamed, or is it because, I don't know, it was like once again hinting that the Cullens really don't get along with any, like, or vampires in general don't get along with werewolves, and so, like, they were, like, setting that up so they even know that they weren't going to get along. But
That's an interesting way to read it. And more so in the next chapter, maybe, everyone's, like, growling at each other. All these vampires are making noises at each other. And on one hand, yes, that's gross. On the other hand, it also, like, suggests more of, like, an animalistic thing that the movies really push back against. Like, they look down on werewolves because they're like dogs. And vampires are, they try to make themselves appear as more human or, like, superhuman, whereas werewolves are, like, subhuman. That's kind of the vibe, I feel like. Whether that's right or wrong is a different story, but there's much less of that in this book, at least, because they're, like, doing animalistic things and, like, there are pack rankings and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's very much like werewolves. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it's because they were like packs, and then he's the alpha, he's the leader, yada yada yada. Then they said like they described Victoria as feline, and then but then like right after that, she like it's like she's describing like all of them as like animals, and then like but then she goes back to sucking the Cullen's dick and like saying, oh, but the Cullens, they look like this, and they're so cool, they're so lean, they're so prepared, they're so ready, they couldn't take them, this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, you could hop off like for like a second, just like describe it like you see it, but you know.
Yeah, that I think is an interesting thing to keep, like, make a mental note of and like check back to this thought later. And I wonder if that continues, like the more animalistic vampire portrayal, or if that changes when werewolves are more involved. Because we learned that werewolves kind of exist like early in the book, and then we've completely forgotten about that. We've moved away from that, just like we're not concerned with Mike and Jessica anymore, which is weird.
There is only Edward.
Yep, there's only Edward. I had another question that I wanted to raise. I don't know if there's an answer for it in the text yet, but they talk about how James is a tracker. Like that's a thing. Like that's like a known like type of person in the vampire community. And they also kind of talk about it like it's his superpower. Like he's unstoppable. Nothing is going to stop him. And so I wonder if that's kind of like being a shield. Like it's a non-power power. I was just curious what you guys thought about that.
I was like, I don't know. I do think it's a power though, because like he's like, didn't you see like because it was like I don't think it would have a specific name if it wasn't something significant. I feel like they had those, not to skip ahead, but like they had those like in the Volturi, like the smaller people, like they had like trackers in their mist, but they had other powers other than just being a tracker. But I don't know. I think he's like the last one who's like only a tracker that we come in contact with. But I do think that is his power, like him being able to rationalize and do all these different. Like it might be like a mental thing, like a mental power.
I wonder how old he is too.
Yeah, I don't know if I see it as a power or more like, I don't want to say preference, but I see it as almost in the way that like the Cullens prefer to be, vegetarians, or comparing it against, it seems like Laurent is very much like he feeds to survive. This seems like this is his way of keeping it interesting. So he makes it like a hunt, which makes me think that he was just kind of like a prowly, kind of shitty guy in his human years.
That's what I was thinking.
And that carried over into being a vampire. Like, he is just a predator, So maybe it is a power, but it's like, I don't know.
Like how maybe it was just like, it was something that he did a lot in his former life, but it was just like enhanced into his vampire years, but like not really necessarily a power, but just like more like focused on that now. Like, how with Edward and the Spanish flu and the schizophrenia, and then developing in him being able to read minds and stuff. Yeah. But it's sort of like Carlisle's power, how he like shows extreme restraint and like, so like it's not really like a power, but it's like big boy.
Like a really impressive trait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that's the best comparison. Like Carlisle's super compassion.
He's like, James I'm super bloodthirsty.
Yeah, just a dick.
Like the opposite.
I'm just a super dick.
He's just like, he was like a date rapey guy in his human years.
Like the people who like, no, I'm not going to get into that. We're just going to leave that where that's at.
So, to go more in on their appearance, just like how different they made it. I want to know, I wish I knew that like conversation. Also, side note, we did pause and open the windows because in Ohio it's finally starting to get to be fall and we are all lit as hell about it. So if you hear cars in the background, sorry. Deal with it.
The wind rustling in the I lost my train of thought. Leaves. Yeah.
But anyway, their appearances, like I'd like to know what that conversation was that they had, because it's like completely 180 from what it is in the book.
Yeah, they would have got flamed for what they were wearing.
Yeah.
In the book.
So, like, yeah,
the movie.
what they're wearing in the books, they're described as wearing ordinary backpackers gear, like jeans, flannels. They're barefoot. But
this is like weather resistant stuff, and I'm like, why do you need
Yeah.
weather resistant stuff? And like, really, like that stuff, like nature and stuff, doesn't really affect you at all.
Especially because if you're going to be barefoot, like that could be one thing, like, oh, we're trying to blend in. But if you're barefoot, you're not going to blend in.
yeah,
What's that about?
So your craggly toes.
yeah. So and then in the movie, they're all decked out in leather and fur, and they look like some weird rock band.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Laurent's wearing this orange jean jacket with no shirt underneath, and it's
Yeah.
unbuttoned all the way.
And they look like they're floating.
Like the most non-inconspicuous people ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I really have a lot of questions about that too. I made a post on our Instagram about it today.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know.
Well, also their hair.
Yeah.
Both the guys are described, like, Victoria has red hair, whatever. But it was also described as, like, she had fucking twigs and leaves in it.
Yeah.
Rough. But the guys were both commented to have cropped hair. So I assume that's, like, short.
Yeah, R.I.P.
But then they're just like, fuck it. Long hair for both of them.
Yeah.
One guy has, like, long-ass dreads, and the other's wearing a ponytail. And both of those actors don't have long hair. So it's weird that, like, they just decided just to be like,
Have
yeet
this.
some wigs on them.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting, and it totally adds a different vibe. Like, in the book, if you're picturing three, like, backpackers, basically, that's like someone who's committed to the hunt.
Yes.
You know? And that's a really different look than these shirtless
Yeah.
rock band, like, really, what's the word? Not elegant, but, like, they spend a lot of money or they steal nice things for themselves, it seems like. Yeah. They're quite bougie in the movies, but super not in the books. I just think that's an interesting thing to compare.
Yeah, they seem, but also that seems like the whole conversation seems more civilized in the book rather than in the movie. Like in the movie, it was like you were able to tell that they were like okay, they're like low key crazy, so let's like do what they want, sort of. But like in the book, it was just like Carlisle sort of like held his ground, like, no, we're about to leave, like but you can come back to our house or something like that. And that was like a negotiation. They're like, yeah, that's fine, but like it was just two different.
You're talking so fast, I can't understand you. I'm sorry.
But like how in the books, it's like it's more the conversation's more controlled when they initially start talking. It seems a lot more like just not as harsh as when it's in the movies. Like in the movie, it's like they are a bunch of hoodlums, and we have to sort of do what they say, and try not to try to keep them down, like not get a reaction out of them, and like keep them calm. Meanwhile, it was just literally Bella was the triggering thing in the book. It wasn't like they were already hostile when they came.
Well, I think sorry, go ahead.
I have a thought about that. So, kind of unprompted in the books, Carlisle invites them over to their house, which I thought was a really interesting move. And that's sort of also where he's talking about, like, a little bit about their history, like, where they came from, how they have a permanent residence, which throws off the new vampires because they're like, how? And it kind of becomes clear that they somehow don't drink blood. They don't kill human beings. And it kind of felt a little bit like to me that since Carlisle's like the son of a preacher or whatever, it seemed like he's like a very holy, like priest-like figure, and it's almost like he's trying to like bring these guys back to their house to like clean up and like have a meal and convince them to also be vegetarians or something. You know? I don't think that it would actually get that far, but that's just like the sort of vibe.
Let me convert you.
Yeah,
I thought
like
it was
converting.
I thought it was like a diversion. Get them away from Bella.
Yeah.
So, like, Edward could take her home, and he has a reason to just, like, get them away from that
Why did
area.
they think that wasn't going to be... I mean, what are the odds that they're going to run into, like, a tracker who's, like, hell-bent on killing people, but also, like, if there's a human in the vicinity who, like, smells so good...
Yeah.
How did they think that was going to work?
Going back to what Tyree said, I think, and we've mentioned this in the past before, I think it's interesting here in the movies kind of what you get that the books don't offer. So, like, throughout the movie, we have these scenes about the three, like, nomads, you know? So, like, they attack Waylon and they attack other people. So we get to see that throughout the movie. And the same thing here in this scene. Up until, you know, in the book, where the wind catches Bella's hair, like, there's no real danger, I don't think, once they get, like, a smell of Bella, whatever. But in the movie, you get that back and forth while Carlisle and Laurent are talking. You get the back and forth between Edward and James, where Edward's, like, you can tell he's reading his mind, and James is, like, slowly figuring it out. I think that, I like what that adds to it. Like, it's not just, like, a snap, oh shit, she's human.
Yeah, she's like, 3 things happened. First, my craggly hair blew in the breeze.
My ratty ass bitch hair.
Oh, we're supposed to be nicer to Bella.
We'll get there.
It takes
But-
time.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, though?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another cool thing that happens in this chapter is that Carlisle introduces everyone standing behind him as his family, including Bella. And she says, I felt a shock when he said my name, but it's just cool that he, like, is so willing and ready to be like, yep, this is a person that I care about and protect. They're my family.
You're right.
Yeah.
But Carlisle's just that boy.
Yeah, I think
It
he's
is-
my favorite character.
Yeah. And I think it's smart, too, because even Bella mentions it. She's like, it shocks her that he includes her in the family, but she's like, but it's also smart of him to not call out to the one individual who wouldn't be in the family in that particular instance, you know?
Yeah, and he keeps saying, like, she's with us, she's with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just gonna say something, but it's sort of, it was just the question that I brought up, but it's not really relevant until, like, later chapters, but I'm not gonna remember this. But, after everything goes down with James, and after all this, like, all is said and done, how does the power shift between Victoria and Laurent?
I don't think that ever gets addressed.
Yeah, it just sort of confused me. Like,
I think they just go off on their... Because I think they're still close, just based off what I remember from the movies. Because, you know, Laurent comes back to see if Bella's still alive. And he says, you know, Victoria thinks it's only fair that since Edward killed James, she kills you. But not so close that he's leaving Bella alive for Victoria to kill her.
he's like, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
Wait, he says that?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
gonna
he was
kill
like,
her.
I'm doing you a favor by killing you myself, because Victoria wants to make you suffer.
Yeah, and that's when Jacoby comes out of the cut, and he's like, ah, ha, ha, ha. Or is Jacob? I don't know if Jacob's like there yet, but like Sam comes up and they like go yeet Laurent.
Well, yeah, Bella's just accepted
They
her
yeet him?
fate.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kill Laurent. But
Whoa, I so didn't know that.
I know we're supposed to be nicer to Bella, but the ultimate bitch Bella moment is when she just accepts her fate that Laurent's gonna kill her.
And then she says, "I love you, Edward." At the
Yeah,
end, like
her
F
last
your
words.
family.
Her last words, Edward, I love you.
And then like
okay.
he's already left her, like he's gone.
okay.
And then the wolves come out and yeet Laurent.
And Sam stops and looks at her like, "Itch, those were your last words."
Really?
Yeah, what if they all transformed back? Are you fucking kidding me?
Homeboy left you 5 months ago. If you don't chill out,
I have so much to say about Ella's prioritization of, like, everyone in the Cullen family over her own family in the next chapter, so get ready for that.
She is something else.
Yeah.
so shady. Like, you're not gonna call it to your mom, your dad. No.
And I know I said this maybe like a couple weeks ago, but it's wild how much she used to be concerned about her mom, and now she doesn't give a fuck at all. She hasn't even thought about her mom this whole
Since
time.
like chapter 3.
Yeah.
When she said that little email.
Right. I know she comes up again in the next chapter, and at that point it's like, girl, how do you not know that? How'd Charlie know this before you did? But we'll get there.
Like 16 chapters later, she was like, "Oh yeah, my mom."
Yeah.
I have one of those.
Whatever.
This bitch.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I also want to call attention back to the weird noises they're making at each other. At the very end of this chapter, Edward is like, we're about to go through with Bella's plan, and he's like, all right, I guess, but like, can you handle it? And like, Bella, if anything happens to you, I'm not gonna forgive you for it. And he says, can you handle this, to Alice? And then the narration says, and graceful little Alice pulled back her lips into a horrific grimace and let loose a guttural snarl that had me cowering against the seat in terror. And my note next to that is, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's so like,
Graceful little Alice.
it feels like another one of those things where it's like, yeah, we already know they're vampires. Like, you don't have to throw shit in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Graceful. Strong.
Snarling.
like, that's how they settle arguments. They just snarl at each other.
That's very dog-like.
Yeah. Tyree, would you like to display or give an example of these snarls?
In all levels except physical. I'm more. I don't know. Like, I was doing
She's
them like
really
in the
it.
cut. Woof. I don't know. Like, I don't know if it would be like a hiss and like a growl at the same time, because they were like going between feline and then like doggish. So it would be like a ha, or like a.
It's like a almost. It's in the movie. Like when James and Edward go at each other, that's I think one of the cringiest parts of the whole movie.
Wow.
No, it's still Emmett with that sideways hat, doing those little knee things. And like all of them at the like diamond, just flipping the baseball bat. I'm like, if you don't just hold it so we can get this going.
He's trying to do some martial arts to warm up.
Yikes.
And he doesn't even need to warm up
Yeah, I
at
know.
all.
I
He's just
know.
like, let me just do this anyway. Turn my hat sideways in this itch.
Yikes.
I hate that. Calling the authorities.
That's
What
all I have for
that's
this
all you have?
chapter.
What about you, Terry?
I'm gonna double check to make sure I don't have anything else, because mine are like low, like deep in my notes. But if you guys want to distract from me as I scroll,
Well,
in
we
my
also we have to keep in mind that it's already 6:43.
Oh yeah. It's because of Tyree's car accident,
my effing lights don't work.
and since it's getting into fall, like we said, the sun's setting sooner. So we need to yeet her out of here
She
before
has
it
to
gets
get home
dark.
before dark. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the Webkins game. Remember that?
The sun sets at 7:07. So
All right.
But that doesn't. It like the moment of sunset as they count it isn't like dark yet, really.
yeah.
Oh, can I talk about one more thing?
Yes.
When they were talking, how Bella was talking about how they're going to move to Arizona, the Sunshine State with Edward. How is that going to work out with him being out in public? One, he's not going to be able to go out in public. And then two, when she was saying, I'm quite old enough to get my own place. And I said, like, with what effing money?
With
Yeah.
what effing money? With your half high school diploma?
Yeah, I said,
Wait, did she call it the Sunshine State?
no, I'm just saying, I'm just
Oh.
saying, Phoenix is like
Right.
a effing sunny
Yeah.
place.
Oh, I thought she said that. I was like, that is not correct.
What is the Sunshine State? Is that Florida?
Florida.
Yeah.
And then also I said, I said, whenever you ever worked in your life, is Master Edward paying for it?
Right? Oof.
Oh boy.
Like,
Daddy, right?
Yeah.
No.
Daddy must be making, not making, but
just has it accumulated in the cut.
Yeah.
yeah.
Accumulated in the cut.
I feel like it'd be fun if we found out that Edward just has a job. Yeah. And he's just like a barista somewhere. And you're like, oh.
Fitting. Okay.
I can dig it.
Oh my god.
No, she really should have gave them jobs. I feel like it would have added more to their personalities.
Like he's a librarian or some shit.
In a dark library.
Yeah.
He would work in a music store. Or are we kidding?
Yeah. True. I was thinking that
Or
too, but
museum.
like I feel like that
like a
would
cosign
require
maybe.
him to interact with people more. I feel like that's not him.
True.
Yeah.
All right. You want to do that?
And it could be a coach or something.
Yeah.
With the son of a preacher man. Sorry.
Rosalie would be working at a retail store, and she'd be the like clerk that makes you feel bad for not being able to like fit into their clothes.
No, she's that brown hair lady that works at Kroger. Just has an attitude for no reason.
Call her out.
If you're listening to this,
I see you, Laura.
Yeah,
little short brown hair.
There's a particular worker at a grocery store nearby us, and she doesn't like us,
She thinks we smell bad.
or really anybody for that matter.
Yeah.
She said you smell bad.
Isn't that her? Or is that a different person?
No, that's a different.
No,
Oh, that's my friend at the gas station.
No, this is self-checkout 1 through 8 at Kroger.
Also, for the record, we don't always smell bad. It's after work
Yeah, it's at work.
when we smell like food.
Yeah. I've had some of my athletes tell me I smell like Chinese food. And they'll just come and sit next to me.
People get in my car and they're like, why does it smell like curry in here?
That's what every time my mom smells something that she doesn't recognize, she calls it curry.
That's so funny.
And I'm like, that's not
Racist.
correct.
This is seasoned chicken.
All right. Well, I think we milked this episode as much as we could.
Yeah.
This chapter. But I wanted to wrap it up by kind of shouting out some of our listeners. To start out, I think we shouted her out. Well, we did. Okay. We
Which are the
shouted her
OG?
out because a couple weeks ago we got our first real review on iTunes. And we read it, and then we saw, oh my gosh, it says Steph M. So we're like, oh my god, what if it's Stephanie Meyer? Well, she reached out to us on on Instagram. It's not Stephanie Meyer, but Stephanie. I hope that's your name because it's abbreviated Steph. But Steph, thank you for listening.
Yes, thank
and we
you so
love
much.
you just as much, if not more, than Stephanie Meyer.
Absolutely.
So
We definitely love you more than Bella.
yeah.
Someone else flamed us for that in our DMs.
Yeah. So then the other person that reached out to us on our Instagram, Brittany, shout out to you. Because, I mean, we asked for it, too.
Yeah. Definitely.
Thank you for the feedback. And we take it pretty hard on Bella. Mm-hmm. We are pretty unforgiving when it comes to her. And, Brittany brought up some good points, how maybe just remember how she's a teenager, and teenagers are, overall a little more moody. And, but she did say, there may be a touch of the mental illness aspect here, too. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah.
This is my depression.
We're not great at it, but we will work on it being nicer to Bella.
Yeah.
Try. When there's a lot of moments when we say we don't understand, you can fill in those blanks.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Give us your readings, your interpretations. Because, I mean, I guess it is easy to forget that she's so young because she's, thrust into these really adult situations with these very old people around her.
These crusty, dusty people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even think it's the young thing. The whole thing about Bella, and I guess this does relate to her being back to a teenager, is just her whininess. Mm-hmm. That's, my biggest pet peeve on the planet, is when someone's whiny.
My only pet peeve with her is how, my real pet peeve is how she's really low-key not able to do anything for herself, and her disregard to, her parents and Charlie and, her people who were supposed to be her friends. She, drags them through the mud through her head, and I'm, even though I can understand, being a little, not a little bee, but, being a little petty in your head and saying some snide stuff to yourself, but, it's never, every time you talk to them, it's not oh my god, I don't like them, or I lied swiftly, or, I lied with ease, and,
yeah.
I don't know, she's
a lot of times it seems unwarranted.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There's no need for her to be acting like that, and she just is.
Like in Big Mouth, when the female hormone monster is lie for no reason, and the little girl is yeah. And lies to her mom for no reason. Makes her feel bad for no reason.
Speaking of, season 3 is out, if you didn't know.
Yeah. Let us know what other things you're into. Do you watch other vampire stuff? Or not really? Are you into Big Mouth? How about Disenchantment?
Disenchantment is...
My Hero Academia?
That is my chiz.
Yeah.
My chiz.
Let us know. We'd like to talk about it.
All right.
Buy our merch.
Excellent.
So, yeah. Shout out to those people. But thank you all for listening. We love you guys. We appreciate you. If you enjoy the podcast, please, if you listen on Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating and review. It really helps us out. Like we did earlier, we'll shout you out on the podcast. We'd love to hear from you. We respond to everybody, so hit us up on our Instagram at MyTwilightFantasy, on Twitter at Twilight Podcast, at our Gmail, MyTwilightFantasyPodcast@gmail.com. And just talk to us. We love talking about Twilight, obviously, and we'd love to hear your opinions, and we'll even share them on here for everyone to hear. Because, it can be a little one-sided with us three. So, we'd love to hear from you. If you follow us on Instagram, if you don't, you should, but if you do, the link in our bio goes to our website, and on there you can access places to listen to us, our YouTube, Spotify, Apple, everything. But it also has links to our merch website where you can get some fun t-shirts, coffee mugs, journals, whatnot.
Hoodies for that fall season.
Yeah, I'm about to order a hoodie.
They're so
lit.
comfy, seriously. I forget which one I got. There are like multiple options, but mine is so soft and so like warm and nice.
I know.
I highly recommend it.
I'm going to have to order one here soon. I'm wearing our gray women's t-shirt right now with our logo on it.
I'm wearing a Ghetto University sweatshirt.
And I'm wearing a sweatshirt I took from my boyfriend's house. Got that grout fit going.
Yeah, our website there has the link to that merch page, but it also has the link to our Patreon.
Please.
If you are so inclined to help us grow this podcast,
Please.
and fix our speaker or our mic issues, definitely throw us a fat one over there.
Yeah, we just start playing next, like, because, like, apparently, like, this part isn't working. We should, like, play, like, piano music in the background. Like, what they do to, like, the little puppy commercials and the little kid commercials. Like, what would you do if a child was standing in front of you right now?
Oh, yeah.
Throughout the whole podcast?
No, just for this part
Yeah,
where
just-
we're like,
Yeah.
please
give
help
us-
us out with these horrible mics.
What would you do if we were standing in front of you right now?
Douche. Let's get some mollywops. Be nicer to Bella.
Mollywop.
Molly whopping is the best. I'm so glad you started saying that.
Oh, God. All right. Well, do you guys have anything else to add?
Yeah.
Just thank you for listening. That's all.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. So with that, another week done, and we move on next week.
Hey.
So,
Peace.
Love.
in Twilight.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.